Are you winning? Do you need help in your life or business? Could you use some inspiration, business strategies, and success principles? I'm Daniel Gomez, award-winning business coach, keynote speaker, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you create a successful life and elevate your business. Together, we will discover the keys that unlock your success and dreams. Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, where we motivate, we inspire you, and yes, we educate you. And today we're coming to you live here, and it's an amazing episode. We got a special guest for you. We got the one and only Miss Laura Ballet. How you doing, my friend?
I'm excited. We were just talking and you had to stop us so we can go and start recording. I'm just grateful to be here with you, see your beautiful face, feel your wonderful energy, and spend a little bit of time together.
No, well, you know what? It's been a while since we've actually had a face-to-face conversation, so this is going to be an amazing episode. But I know the amazing, incredible human being you are, Laura. Do me a favor, introduce yourself to the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, please.
Yeah, thank you. Again, thank you for the opportunity. So I'm Laura Brennan Ballet. I'm a global top-selling author of The Science of Empowerment. And like so many of us, I collaborate around the world. I am a lead coach for ZLO Studios. This is where we train in the metaverse. It is the coolest thing I've ever done. We're avatars, and that's all around the Courageous Leadership Program. So I love that. I speak on virtual stages all around the world. I'm an E360 TV global panelist, and I'm an empowerment coach. So I have my own personal private coaching business, as well as just going out into the world and speaking on how to empower our own life so we may empower one another. So just love the opportunity to talk.
Well, Laura, let me ask you this. Why would you leave the comforts of a 9 to 5 job and go on this amazing, stressful, crazy journey called entrepreneurship and become a published author, become a coach? Why would you leave the comforts of the 9 to 5?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of an outlier. I've never truly worked a 9 to 5. I've always had this energy inside of me to go outside the box and not do what I was supposed to do or what I was told I'm supposed to do. I've always been a pretty unique self-thinking individual, and I can't do anything else. It's in my cells. It's where I'm connected. Even if I never made a penny off of it, I would do it every day. And even if I was a multimillionaire, I would do it for free. So I love it. I love the feeling and the education that happens when you have these kinds of conversations around empowerment and
Yeah.
really stretching the limited thinking and expanding our
Well,
mindset.
well, I love what you said though, because you said something that was pretty powerful. I don't want to miss that. You said y you didn't do what you were told to do, and I see so many adults, whether it's in their 20s, 30s, 40s, and even 50s and 60s, that still they live as the kid they were, right? As grown adults, we live as the kid we were, and we were told what to do, right? We're told don't touch the stove because it's hot. Don't jump in the water because you might drown, right? And we live in fear this entire time. What empowered Laura that you can give to our audience? Well, first of all, let me stop here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a part of the show. I'm getting so excited to be here with Laura, where I say get out your pen, get out your paper, and take some notes because Laura's gonna drop some massive wisdom. And you know what I always say here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, what you write down, you retain over 50% of it. So take your notes that we can go back and watch and listen to this episode again. And it's going to really help you go a little bit deeper and help you with that cognitive thinking at a deeper level. And let me ask you this. So what empowered you? Because so many people they still live in that mindset. They were told what to do. They were told what to do. Go to college, get your 4 year degree, then get out of there and go work work 20, 30 years for a pension. But you said you didn't do that. How come?
Well, in full transparency, there was always something inside of me that said, no, don't go there. It was almost like, you know, I just had this instinct like that is not for me. I felt it. I did try. I worked at a bank and I did a bunch of normal stuff when I was a kid. You know, when you're a teenager, I was a waitress. I got my bartending license. I did all kinds of things when I was younger. Everywhere I went, I felt confined. I felt like
Mm.
not like the walls were closing in, but I felt the energetic structure of limitation. And I always felt it from the higher ups. So, in other words, you walk into a building, you do as you say, and then you leave. And that was not how I was raised. My brother and I were raised in a very creative home, creative thinking home. Think for yourself, grow up fast. Our parents gave us a lot of responsibility and the feeling that we could handle it. Something as simple as when we were very young, they would pretend they were going out and they would drive down the road for a few minutes and they'd leave us and they'd come back to see what we did. So we always kind of had this ability to trust ourselves early on, which allowed us to think bigger than our present condition. So we didn't
Mm.
have a lot of fear. And I've maintained that mindset my whole life through. Even as I get older, it's expanding even more. So if someone says, let's go over here, however, I'm like, no, 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 however, let's go. Someone calls me, they reach
Yes.
out, they're like, let's create, let's collaborate, let's do something big, let's do something special. I'm like, let's go. I never see limitations. I just don't. And I train my brain and my mind to understand that I am an unlimited human being.
So what are the two big limitations that you see when you're coaching and guiding people on becoming empowered, right? On because your book is at the science of empowerment. What are two of the biggest right, the roadblocks that are there that keep people from not doing that, right? Like, no, like let's go and no, I don't want to go and let's go and they don't want to
Yeah.
take any risks. What have you seen are two big obstacles and how do you overcome those obstacles, Laura?
Yeah, I would say just off the cuff, lack of confidence is a very human feeling, right? It's built into the human condition. And the mindset that patterns are just patterns. And they don't understand that the way that they think and the way that they feel and the perception of those two experiences creates an algorithm in the body, in the mind, which keeps them in that state of limited thinking. So I really find that they don't have the confidence to think greater than they feel. They don't have the confidence to move past the routine and venture into the possibility. So I really work with my
Mm,
clients to suspend the doubt and we go for it anyways.
yeah, I love that, right? So listen to what she's saying, ladies and gentlemen. Are you at the level of confidence that you want in your life? Are you really, do you get an idea and then because you lack the confidence, you kill it? Or do you know that God is putting something in your heart, but you lack the confidence to move forward? So you just stop right there. And then I love what you said, right? The greatest salesman in the world comes around, which is doubt. And
Yeah.
then doubt gets in your mind. And then you allow doubt to sell you on the fact that you don't have the abilities and the capabilities of doing what you need to do. Think about what she's saying. So how does somebody build that confidence, or how does somebody go about like they're right, they're not happy, but they might be comfortable and they're tolerating because they're comfortable. How does somebody build the confidence to really empower them to you know what? I'm gonna do this.
I would, well, what I do when we're in session is again, I give them the space and the opportunity to ask themselves, all right, for 5 minutes, all things, patterns, behaviors, part of my personality, all the doubt, all the lack of confidence, all of it. It's off the table. Clean slate. I
Yes.
am a high level thinking human being. I am wise. I am creative. I am curious. I've got everything it takes to think this particular challenge all the way through What does that look like? So there's no blocks. There's no blocks. So every time
Mm.
you go to say something, and then there's that, as you said, that little voice, that little doubt, remember, put it aside, keep going.
Yes.
Let's play it out. What would happen if you started to create the side hustle? Now, you don't give up the day job. We all know how this vernacular goes. Keep the day job, pay the bills, but start to put a little bit of time into that creativity, into what might be possible.
Mm.
Now, how does that start to feel? And some people do, they get the butterflies, they get a little excited, they get a little anxious, a little nervous. So we just keep moving through. I think if people could understand that they are actual living beings of God, right? The grand creator, right? That power source of all creation. It is in us. I write about this in The Science of Empowerment. I firmly believe that coded in our DNA is all the brilliance and all the genius we need to really create what would truly make us happy. And I think
Yeah.
what we have forgotten, because we're conditioned to forget, is that we really are living potentiality. We are
Mm.
living potential. We
Well,
just,
I love what you're saying because I think when people don't realize this is what came to mind and think about this, ladies and gentlemen, is listen to what Laura just said. Like you have the power to create. And I do this training and I this is what I say. I get a big old white canvas and I say, this white canvas is your day. Every day, you're the artist of your life. What are you going to do with that white canvas? Which, in the analogy, it's your day. You have a magic paintbrush, which is the words that you speak. And I truly believe that most people don't believe how powerful the words are because the words create the life, they create the future life we desire. But most people speak death over themselves instead of speaking life. Talk to us about that. How powerful are the words that we speak, Laura?
oh, I love this. So I've really kind of becoming known now around the world as the thought energy expert. It's something I talk about. I'm actually copywriting this because I live this thought energy. As you just said, most of us do not think about our thoughts. And you talk about like really the artistry of how we can design our day. I talk about becoming the architect of thought, really designing the way that we think about thought in order to create something past the present condition. And, we all know the science. We speak up to 80,000 words in our mind. It's on a loop. We don't even connect to the thought. Therefore, we are disconnected to the pattern. And the patterns
Mm.
are what keep us locked in these routines. We react the same way, we interact the same way, we tell ourselves the same story. We really continue to re sign a contract daily, weekly, monthly, yearly of the same old. And then we wonder, why do I have the same relationships? Why am I not creating more wealth? Why is my health not at a peak level? We just really, we give our power away all the time. And so I think when we can start to slow down just for a moment, and maybe it's first thing in the morning, and just look at ourselves, and it could be through prayer, it could be through meditation, journaling, and ask ourselves, if I were to construct the day, design, engineer the day realistically, but with, again, a little bit of more ignition to something a little better than what I had yesterday, what would that look like? Have fun creating your life, and try to move out of the habit of pushing it over there. Start to take action today. And we all know small steps create, right, bigger steps. And
Yeah.
life can and does change.
Are you an aspiring speaker? Do you have a book that you've been wanting to write for months, maybe even years? Or are you an aspiring podcaster? You want to start that podcast like the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show and don't know where to start? Well, at Daniel Gomez Enterprises, we can help you do all three. We can help you become that paid speaker, share your story to the world, write your book, and get your podcast launched and help you produce it. We'd love to help you. Give us a call at 210-663-5954. That's 210-663-5954. We can help you become that paid speaker, write that book, and launch your podcast. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call now.
Well, I love what you're saying because I think most people don't realize that to change your thoughts is to change your life. And what I mean by that, ladies and gentlemen, is listen to what Laura said. We have over 60,000 thoughts that we have every day, over 60,000. But what we don't realize as human beings, ladies and gentlemen, is that it's the same thoughts every day. So if your thoughts are the same every day, your life isn't going to change till you change your thoughts. So what's the input you're putting in your mind to get the output that you want? Let me say it again. What's the input you're putting in your brain to change those thoughts? Because the truth is this, I love what we're talking about, is everything in our life happens twice, Laura, and I think you agree with this. It happens first, ladies and gentlemen, in our thoughts, and then it happens in the reality of who we are. And people don't realize how powerful that our thoughts actually create our life. So they live in ignorance, right? That they don't really know that, wow, my thoughts do everything started with a thought. This iPhone started with a thought. This podcast
Everything.
started with a thought.
Yes.
Let's go a little bit deeper on that. Tell us a little bit more in depth about that.
Yeah, and again, the human condition has very specifics built into it, and we can, really look at that from a faith perspective, a synchronicity perspective. There are very specifics in place, I believe, as challenges, not difficulties, even not obstacles. They're just challenges. And when you begin to look at everything as a challenge and remind yourself that you have the ability to overcome that challenge, now it starts to reduce the pressure of the challenge and it starts to build up that confidence. It starts to
Mm,
dissolve the doubt a little more. And it allows space for creativity and fun and exploration. Wow, I never quite thought I could do that. Well, what happens if I try? What happens if I don't try and I do it? And it doesn't matter what happens in the interim. I write about this in the book. Go over it, through it, under it, around it, find a way. There is such a power when you make a decision and you become an individual that has directive over self. And you can do that through faith and all the things that matter to us that help kind of cushion the journey. But you you are so amazing, beautiful, spectacular. I really do look at individuals as these little sparks of brilliance, and I get kind of heavy-hearted when people don't realize that. And I understand that some of us have gone through a lot of tragedy, and we all know that, there's alcoholism and drug addiction and there's abandonment. And I understand all that. And we're not to say dismiss that and all of a sudden be this positive, Pollyanna. I'm saying that honor what you've been through and learn to recalibrate it so that it actually helps you rise above it.
I love this. I love this. So let me ask you this: what in your journey of becoming this entrepreneur, and we're talking about confidence and doubt, what's been the biggest obstacle that you had to overcome, and how did you do that, Laura?
Yeah, and it's I was talking about this with a private conversation with a friend the other day. She's a founder of this incredible company. And she was asking me, how do you just keep going? You're always happy. Everybody, I'm always fabulous. Even if stuff is going on, I'm still fabulous. And I said, for me, my personal challenge was to not allow someone else to dim my light. I
Mm,
once met with a gentleman, very high-end French gentleman who was big in the perfume industry. And I kind of came into a room and I just did me. And he tried to put me back in the box. like, well, you're a little too advanced. You're thinking a little too ahead, kind of bring it back a little bit. And
Yeah.
I took that, not even for a second did I think twice. And I said, thank you for your time, but you are not for me. And I'll never forget it. And it was a big deal too. It was one of those life-changing. And I said, no way. Because
Yeah.
if he was placing a limit on me, that means he has a limit within himself. And how could I go
Say that
forward?
again. So if someone places a limit on you or tries to place a limit on you, it's because they have a limit in themselves somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Because as you said, input, data, there's some data coming in that I'm limited and I'm going to project that limitation onto you because I was sparking something in him. Now I was younger, he was much older. He
Yeah.
found his path much older. But rather than be like a mentor and say, "Ooh, I see something here. Let me be a part of that spark." He got a little like the ego puffed out a little bit. And I recognized that. And I was fine with that. Not for me. And one of my friends knows about this. And we were talking because she's coming up against something as a founder of a company. And she said, how did you do that? I said, very simple. I'm an unlimited human being. And when someone places a limitation on me, that's my cue to step outside of that relationship or that
Yeah.
connection. That's just the universe or God force reminding me, nope, keep going, keep rising. Every
Yeah.
step, anybody tries to anchor you down, no, that's not for you.
You're saying that I truly, and even, right, I think it goes for all human beings. I think we don't realize how limitless we really are. I think
Yeah,
people say, well, I'm limitless, or they say an affirmation like that, but they don't really believe it. But the
yeah,
truth is this is there's no limitations. All limitations are self-imposed by us, by the human being. And now that we're here in our corporate office, I remember working out of my office, our home office for 6 years. And when the idea came to me to get in the corporate office, you're like, well, do we do it? Do we not? I said, you know what? We're going to have a director of operations. Let's do it. And we moved in January, and we've grown since then. But what seemed like a big thing, right? I wanted to put a limit on us. Just having a corporate office made a big difference. And then this office opened up because it was bigger, it was nicer, right? The trees you see behind me are real, and it's
beautiful.
just it's just like wow. Just I mean, I get to look at this every day outside, right? It's just beautiful. But my point is this: is that I wanted to put a limit, saying, well, do we really need a corporate office? Do we really need? I mean, we're doing good from our home, but I had to overcome that my own limitation. And because I did that, we've grown because now, right? I mean, think about this. If you want to come and do a book deal with us as your publisher, you're like, not many people want to go to your home. I mean, it's not professional. But hey, you know what? Why don't you come? Let's meet in person and we'll have a cup of coffee. And oh, you have a corporate office? Yeah, we consider it just takes your business to another level. But I was limiting myself in a way at the beginning because I was like, well, it's just more overhead. No, get those limitations out. Because the truth is this: once you take the step, everything you need is going to show up, and you continue to rise higher.
And again, universe, first of all, they love universe for me loves speed. As you said, God plants a seed, a thought. And as a human, that is the activator, right? We came into these physical forms with these incredible brains and minds and all this creative energy and these beautiful hearts and all this emotion. So, we receive. And now the beauty of receiving is to create from what we have
Mm,
received. And when we place that limit, we're blocking creation and we're blocking receptivity. And the minute you block that, you begin to narrow and shrink. So, like if I had allowed someone to have right word over me and I allowed like my shoulders to come in, oh, maybe he's right. Maybe I shouldn't shine this way, or my style of thinking and the way my mind works, nobody's quite ready for that yet. Let me just narrow my vision a little more to fit into that. and I'll be okay. No, no,
Yeah.
you keep expanding. Now, again, we're not saying, don't do something so far out of your comfort zone that the stresses every day are going to now interfere with the creativity. But there has to be a moment where you just, again, you authorize that belief in yourself and you go for it. What's the worst that can happen,
Mm.
right? You learn and you recalibrate and then you carry on.
You know that I love what you just said. I see a lot of people that don't authorize the belief in themselves.
No, very few
And
people.
and I talk about this because I see it come up a lot, right? I talk about this quite a bit because people believe it for everybody else, but they
Yeah,
don't believe it for themselves. And they don't realize the way you just said it, they authorize the belief for yourself.
yeah,
Talk to us about that a little bit deeper.
yeah. Because there really isn't anyone that can allow that experience. We have to venture out into that exploration. What would that feel like? Who could I become if I authorized the journey? And I took in support and collaboration and again, the faith and the belief from our kind of our connection to what's important to us. But absolutely, 100%, I will not get blocked. I now know that I have what it takes. Because if I don't have one aspect of it, we have, a universal library, number one. We have
Yeah.
connections. We have books that we can read, right? We have podcasts that we can listen to. There is a copious amount of information to take in and then apply it, which then becomes knowledge. Knowledge gives you confidence. Confidence gives you empowerment. And empowerment for me expands the field of creativity. And so I
Mm.
really do think when people, I talk about this a lot now, what it is to empower self and then empower one another. And those are two very unique vehicles that we can travel in to really work on the internal power within so that there is an authentic connection to that. Then when we go to speak, or we go again to mentor or guide or listen and learn, we now have the opportunity to become empowered individuals. And for me, that is my mission. It's my passion. I cannot imagine living any other way. It's just how I move through the world. Everywhere I go, it's all I talk about because I want every human being to know, no matter where you are, your present condition, there is something inside of you that is so precious and so needed. And even if it's a mom and she lives in an apartment and she's working the waitressing job, but she hears something and she becomes more of that. That's for me the God force at work. It doesn't mean you have to leave everything behind and, blow it up over there. You don't have to become, a rock star or a supermodel or, a
Yeah,
scientist or whatever. Just become this fuller, beautiful version of yourself and keep expanding that. And all those little touch points ripple into the whole collective. And then it makes a better world.
I love it. I love it. What's the best business advice you've ever received?
I'm not going to say it's per se business, but it is because it was the business of my growth. It was when I was quite young from my grandmother, and she
Yeah.
told me, "Don't ever let anyone dim your light." I
Mm.
mean, I've known this since I was probably third or fourth grade. She instilled it in me, even very, very young. I think I was 7. I can remember when I was in the kitchen in their house. Don't ever let anyone dim your light. Because of course, in my grandmother's eyes, right? I was unstoppable. And she never made me question that. So
I
I've never
love it.
stopped.
And as we're getting ready to come to the end of this amazing episode with you, what is a quote or a scripture that Laura relies on in a time of adversity? A quote or a scripture that Laura relies on in a time of adversity.
Oh God, I have a few that are just coming to mind. So I'm going to say something on my more kind of religious, spiritual side, which is onward, Christian soldier. It's something that is just embedded in me. One of my favorite quotes is from Mother Teresa. Let nothing frighten you. Let nothing disturb you. Everything passes except God. He alone is sufficient.
Mm. Say that one more time. That was beautiful.
Yeah. Let nothing frighten you.
Yes,
Let nothing disturb you. Everything passes except God. He alone is sufficient.
I love it.
Yeah. And
Let nothing frighten you. Let nothing disturb you.
everything
Everything
passes
passes.
except
And that's
God.
so true.
Yeah.
I love that. That's powerful.
And even for people, let's say, have different philosophies of life, different faiths, and right, and different religions, we all can understand that because of who created those words, Mother Teresa. She
Yeah,
went out into the streets and went to remind people that you matter. No matter
yeah.
what present condition you are in, you matter, and I will reflect that back to you.
I love it. How does somebody get a hold of you, Laura, if they want to connect with you?
Yeah, just go to the website, www.thescienceofempowerment.com. There is just a wealth of fun information, knowledge, something to ignite the soul in there. There's articles. I've got a media page where this will go up to. You can order the book on Amazon. And in the website, there's a box that people can type in a message. Tell me where you heard me from, reach out, coaching. I'm all over the place.
I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, what an amazing episode. And thank you to our audience, our global audience, making us one of the top podcasts worldwide. Thank you for showing up with us today. And thank you for being here with us on this last episode. And if you're stuck in life, if you're stuck in business, we want to see you at our next event. If you're thinking about becoming that paid speaker, that professional speaker, don't forget March of 2025, March 21st and 22nd here in San Antonio, the Sticker Shock International Speaking Academy. We already got speakers signing up because it's going to be an amazing, amazing event. You too can share your story and you too can become a paid speaker. Until next time with another amazing guest like Miss Laura Ballet, thank you for joining us again. We'll see you here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. Thank you, everybody. This is Daniel Gomez Inspires, and thank you for listening to our show today. Please share this episode with a friend, leave us a review, and subscribe to our show. And for listening to our show today, I want to give you a free gift. I want to invite you to our Millionaire Mind community. Text the word millionaire, that's millionaire, to 210-942-5059. Yes, join our community today and receive millionaire affirmations, inspirational quotes on a weekly basis. That's 210-942-5059. Text the word millionaire today and join our community. And once again, thank you for listening to our show.